moment you want, the business, the relationship, the bold decision, lives right behind a door marked fear. And most people, they never open it. They freeze, they wait, they tell themselves, not yet. But here's the truth. Fear isn't a stop sign, it's a signal you're on the edge of something that matters. And if you don't move now, it gets louder, stronger, until it runs your life. In just a few moments, you'll uncover how to force yourself to push through fear, even when everything inside resists. 1. The true nature of fear. Fear is nothing more than a self-imposed boundary, a phantom barrier created by your own mind. When you truly understand this fundamental truth, you unlock the door to extraordinary achievement. Fear exists only in your imagination. It's an emotional response to something that hasn't happened and may never materialize. Think about this. Every time you push through fear, you've emerged stronger on the other side. Every single time. The successful men and women throughout history who achieved greatness didn't succeed because they felt no fear. They succeeded because they acted despite their fear. Andrew Carnegie, who rose from poverty to become one of the wealthiest industrialists in America, did he experience fear? Absolutely. But he recognized fear as merely a signal to prepare, not a command to retreat. You must adopt the same mindset. When fear rises within you, recognize it as a signpost pointing toward your next breakthrough. Your mind operates like a garden. Plant seeds of fear and doubt, and those will grow. Plant seeds of courage and determination, and those qualities will flourish instead. The choice is entirely yours. Right now, in this moment, you possess the ability to redefine your relationship with fear, to see it not as your enemy, but as your compass, pointing directly toward the areas where your greatest growth awaits. The identity transformation. The identity shift, becoming fearless. The moment you grasp this truth, everything changes. Fear evaporates when you transform who you are at your core. Forget the conventional wisdom about conquering fear through techniques and strategies. Those are merely band-aids on a deeper issue. The real secret, the transformative power that will catapult you beyond limitation, lies in the person you become. When you step into a new identity, what once paralyzed you suddenly becomes just another expected milestone on your journey to greatness. Thomas Edison didn't waste energy managing his fear of failure. He transcended it completely by redefining himself as a relentless discoverer. When asked about thousands of failed attempts at creating the light bulb, he didn't see failure. He saw the elimination of approaches that wouldn't work. His identity wasn't chained to immediate results, but to persistent discovery. This fundamental shift in who he was made fear irrelevant. Your transformation demands the same courage. Ask yourself this pivotal question that will change everything. Who must I become to make my dreams inevitable? This isn't idle philosophy, it's the most practical question you'll ever consider. If building a thriving business is your vision, you must become someone who sees obstacles as temporary challenges rather than permanent roadblocks. Someone who interprets rejection not as defeat but as redirection towards something better. Someone who deeply understands that persistent action will always triumph over raw talent alone. This identity shift isn't achieved through mere wishful thinking or positive affirmations. It happens through deliberate, consistent action that reinforces your new self-image daily. When you act in alignment with your new identity, your subconscious mind has no choice but to follow suit. Henry Ford crystallized this principle perfectly. Whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. This profound insight reveals the extraordinary power of your self-concept. Your identity, who you believe yourself to be, dictates what's possible in your life more than any external circumstance ever could. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This isn't mystical thinking, it's the practical application of identity transformation. When your mind fully embraces a new self-concept, it orchestrates your actions, decisions, and responses to align with that vision. When you declare, I am the kind of person who pushes through fear, you're not merely repeating empty words. You're issuing a command to your subconscious mind that fundamentally reshapes how you approach every challenge in your path. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. You don't need complex techniques to overcome fear. You need a single, powerful shift in how you see yourself. When your identity changes, your behaviors automatically follow. What once seemed impossible becomes your new normal. Imagine standing at the edge of your comfort zone. The old you feels fear. The new you, the identity you're stepping into, feels exhilaration. Same circumstance, radically different response. This is the essence of personal transformation, not changing what you do, but changing who you are. When you become a person who thrives in uncertainty, embraces challenges, and sees obstacles as growth opportunities, fear loses its grip on you forever. Your new identity isn't waiting for you in some distant future. It's available to you right now in this moment through your decision to claim it. Choose today to become the person for whom your dreams are not just possible but inevitable. This is your moment. Step into the identity that will make fear irrelevant to your journey. The world is waiting for the unstoppable force you're about to become. 3. The compound effect of courageous action. Make no mistake about it. Courage isn't your birthright, it's your deliberate creation. Every single time you stand toe-to-toe with your fears, you're not just surviving the moment, you're making a powerful deposit into your courage account that compounds with interest, creating an unstoppable force that will fuel your extraordinary future. This is the secret that separates the champions from the spectators, the legends from the forgotten. Courage compounds. When Ray Kroc first laid eyes on that small McDonald's restaurant in San Bernardino, he didn't see what was, he saw what could be. Did uncertainty grip him? Absolutely. Did fear whisper all the reasons he might fail? Without question. But Kroc wasn't paralyzed by these voices. He was propelled by something more powerful, unwavering commitment to his vision. He didn't take one giant reckless leap. He took that first brave step, then another, then another. Each small victory built upon the previous one, creating a momentum so powerful that it transformed not just his life, but the entire landscape of global business. This same principle awaits your activation in your own life right now. Your journey to greatness begins with small acts of courage today. Have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding for weeks. Speak your truth in that meeting where you typically remain silent. Take that action that terrifies you. These aren't minor actions. They're courage deposits that are silently building the unshakable foundation for your extraordinary future. When you consistently choose courage over comfort, something miraculous happens. Your capacity expands. What once seemed impossible becomes merely challenging. What was challenging becomes routine. This is the courage compound effect in full force, working tirelessly in your favor. Here's a game-changing truth that will transform how you face challenges forever. Fear and excitement create identical responses in your body. The racing heart, the surge of energy, the heightened awareness. These aren't signs to retreat. They're signals that you're alive, engaged, and positioned for breakthrough. The only difference between paralysis and power is your interpretation of these sensations. Champions train themselves to recognize these physiological responses, not as warnings, but as confirmation. They're expanding beyond previous limitations. This simple shift changes everything. When you reframe these signals as evidence that you're growing, becoming more today than you were yesterday, what once terrified you transforms into the very rocket fuel that propels you toward your greatest achievements. This isn't just positive thinking, it's strategic mental programming that rewires your nervous system for success. Your courage account isn't built through occasional bold actions, but through daily, consistent deposits that may seem small in the moment, but create extraordinary returns over time. Each time you choose action over avoidance, progress over perfection, growth over comfort, you're not just changing your circumstances, you're fundamentally transforming who you are. Remember, the heroes you admire weren't born with supreme courage. They developed it through the exact same process available to you right now. They simply made more deposits more consistently over time. Their courage compound effect reached tipping points that appeared to the outside world as overnight success. Today, this very moment, you stand at a critical decision point. Will you make another deposit? Will you take that brave action that future you will thank you for? Will you choose the momentary discomfort that leads to lasting transformation? Your courage account awaits your next deposit. Make it now. Watch it compound. And prepare yourself for the extraordinary life that inevitably follows when you master the courage compound effect. The world is waiting for the unleashed power that exists within you. All it takes is that next brave step, the liberation of failure. Right now, you're standing at the threshold of your greatest breakthrough. The only thing holding you back, that prison in your mind built brick by brick from the fear of failure. But I'm about to hand you the key that will shatter those walls forever. Here's the liberating truth that will transform everything. Failure isn't final, it's formative. When this principle ignites in your consciousness, you'll find yourself taking bold, decisive action without the paralyzing hesitation that's kept you playing small. Colonel Harlan Sanders, whose story isn't just inspiring, it's a blueprint for your own unstoppable success. Picture this, over 1,000 rejections, 1,000 doors slammed in his face before someone finally recognized the value in his chicken recipe. Was each rejection a failure? Only if he chose that interpretation. Instead, the colonel made a decision that separated him from ordinary thinkers. He viewed each no as a necessary step, bringing him one thunderous stride closer to the inevitable, world-changing yes. This isn't positive thinking, it's strategic mental positioning that you must adopt starting today if you're serious about breakthrough results. Your setbacks aren't roadblocks, they're redirections to something greater. When Thomas Edison's light bulb experiments failed thousands of times, he didn't see evidence of incompetence or inadequacy. He recognized these weren't failures at all. They were the essential process of elimination that carved the path to extraordinary innovation that changed human civilization forever. This is your moment to internalize this game-changing truth. Every setback you've experienced contains the precious seeds of your eventual triumph. Those seeds are waiting for you to water them with your renewed perspective and unwavering commitment to growth. Look around at the titans who've reshaped our world. They failed more frequently, more publicly, and more spectacularly than average people would ever dare. The difference? They refused to let those failures define their identity or determine their destiny. These extraordinary achievers understood a profound truth that must become your new operating system. Stumbling isn't the opposite of success, it's an essential component of it. Without those stumbles, you remain untested, undeveloped, and ultimately unfulfilled. When you fully embrace this perspective, something miraculous happens. You free yourself from the paralyzing grip of perfectionism that keeps so many talented people stuck in perpetual preparation mode. You move forward with unstoppable momentum, knowing that each mistake carries within it a valuable lesson that propels you toward mastery. Your failures aren't your enemy, they're your greatest teachers. Starting right now, make this declaration. I no longer fear failure because I understand its true purpose in my journey. Feel the liberation in those words. Feel the chains of hesitation falling away as you step into a new relationship with challenges and setbacks. The path to extraordinary achievement isn't about avoiding failure, it's about redefining it entirely. It's about transforming what most people see as defeat into your personal data for development. When you make this mental shift, you don't just overcome obstacles, you actively seek them out as opportunities to strengthen your resilience and sharpen your skills. Your next failure isn't waiting to defeat you, it's waiting to define your greatness if only you'll let it. The question isn't whether you'll face setbacks, the question is who you'll become through them. The door to your breakthrough stands before you. Will you let the fear of failure keep it locked, or will you use the key of redefinition to fling it open and step boldly into the extraordinary life that awaits you? The choice is yours. The time is now. Your breakthrough begins with your very next failure and how you choose to harness its power. Fail forward. Rise stronger. Become unstoppable. 5. The power of decisive action. While the world waits, you must act. In this very moment, as you read these words, countless opportunities are evaporating around you. Why? Because indecision, that silent assassin of dreams, is systematically stealing what could have been yours. This isn't just a casual observation, it's the defining difference between those who reshape industries and those who merely survive in them. Understand this truth. Decisiveness isn't just a characteristic of success, it is success in its embryonic form. Conrad Hilton, standing at the precipice of what appeared to be financial suicide. The nation was plunging into economic depression. Expert voices thundered warnings of imminent disaster. His friends pleaded caution. Yet in this storm of uncertainty, Hilton saw what the hesitant could not, that perfect conditions are an illusion that keeps ordinary minds chained to mediocrity. When he decisively purchased his first hotel against all conventional wisdom, he wasn't just acquiring property. He was declaring war on average thinking. While others retreated, paralyzed by uncertainty, Hilton charged forward and built an empire that would transcend generations. This is your moment to forge the same decisive mindset. Yes, analyze. Yes, gather intelligence. But then decide with absolute conviction. The universe bows before committed action in ways it never will for endless contemplation. When you force yourself to make decisions rapidly and stand behind them completely, you create a momentum so powerful it crushes obstacles that would stop more tentative souls. Aristotle Onassis, who transformed himself from penniless immigrant to shipping magnate, revealed that the secret of business is knowing something nobody else knows. But here's what he understood that most most miss that exclusive knowledge is worthless unless acted upon with swift, decisive force. Your greatest competitive advantage isn't your intelligence, it isn't your experience, it isn't even your resources. It's your willingness to strike like lightning when opportunity appears while your competitors remain frozen in the paralysis of analysis. This is how you claim your extraordinary life. Think about the decisions you've been postponing, that business you've been meaning to start, that conversation you know you need to have, that investment you've been researching for months. These aren't just items on your to-do list. They're the very battleground where your future is being determined right now. When you develop the muscle of decisive action, you don't just solve problems, you eliminate entire categories of problems that plague the indecisive. You don't just seize opportunities, you become a living, breathing opportunity magnet because the universe recognizes and rewards definiteness of purpose. Make this your unbreakable commitment starting today. I will decide quickly and change my mind slowly. Watch what happens when you live by this code. Feel the surge of power when you respond to challenges not with "let me think about it," but with "here's what we're going to do." Experience the respect you command when you speak and act with the authority that comes only from decisive clarity. The world doesn't reward those who know the most, it rewards those who act the most decisively on what they know. Your resources may be limited, your connections may be few, but when you pair decisive action with unwavering commitment, you awaken forces that will propel you past competitors with far greater resources but less resolute minds. Your destiny is forged in moments of decision, not next week, not when conditions improve. Now, while others deliberate, you will decide. While others wait, you will act. While others hope, you will create certainty through the sheer force of your committed action. This is your competitive edge. This is your legacy in the making. Decide, commit, act, triumph. 6. The discipline of focus. Your mind is the battleground where your future is being decided right now. Make no mistake about it. Your life is moving with unstoppable momentum in the exact direction of your dominant thoughts. This isn't wishful thinking or mystical philosophy. This is the raw, unfiltered truth about how your brain's reticular activating system literally filters reality to confirm your deepest beliefs. When you allow fear to dominate your mental landscape, you're not just experiencing anxiety, you're programming your mind to seek evidence that confirms those fears. But flip this script, and you unlock a power that will transform everything. Paul Getty, the man who built one of history's greatest fortunes, wasn't just lucky. When economic disaster sent others into spirals of panic, Getty maintained an unwavering focus that seemed almost superhuman. While others obsessed over what they might lose, Getty trained his mind with iron discipline to identify opportunities that remained completely invisible to those blinded by fear. This is the mental discipline you must develop starting today. Your mind is the most sophisticated targeting system ever created. Whatever you focus on expands, intensifies, and ultimately materializes in your reality. This isn't some feel-good notion, it's the practical application of your brain's hardwired functioning. The moment fear arises, and it will, you must immediately redirect your focus toward what you want rather than what you dread. This single mental shift separates the extraordinary achievers from those who merely survive. Transform your mental questions, and you transform your entire life. Instead of "what if everything falls apart," ask "how can I turn this situation into my greatest breakthrough?" Instead of "why is this happening to me?" demand of yourself, "what is this challenge preparing me for?" Instead of "what if I'm not good enough?" replace it with "how can I bring even more value than anyone expects?" The quality of your life is the direct reflection of the quality of questions you consistently ask yourself. Look around at those who've created extraordinary results in any field. They aren't necessarily the most talented, the most connected, or the most privileged. They're the most focused. They've developed the mental discipline to eliminate distractions and concentrate their energy like a laser beam cutting through steel, directly on their highest priorities. In a world engineered to fracture your attention into 1,000 pieces, this disciplined focus becomes your ultimate competitive advantage. When everyone else is distracted by the newest crisis, the latest outrage, the constant barrage of negativity, your focused mind becomes an unstoppable force, creating exactly what you've programmed it to see. This isn't just motivation, it's mental strategy at the highest level. Starting right now, make this non-negotiable commitment. I will guard my mental focus with fierce determination. I will direct my thoughts towards solutions, opportunities, and growth. Regardless of circumstances, feel the power in that decision. When you force yourself to maintain this disciplined focus despite the seductive pull of fear and doubt, you generate a momentum so powerful it will smash through obstacles that stop others cold. Your mind is waiting for clear instructions. Will you program it for fear or possibility? Will you train it to spot disasters or opportunities? Will you use its incredible power to create excuses or breakthroughs? The decision is yours. It must be made consciously every single day, every single hour. Focus determines reality. Your thoughts become things. Your dominant mental patterns are creating your future with unyielding precision. Choose wisely, focus deliberately, become unstoppable. Your extraordinary life awaits. 7. The strategic use of discomfort. Discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the doorway. Right now, at this very moment, you stand at a critical crossroads. One path, smooth, familiar, and seductively easy, leads to mediocrity. The other, rugged, challenging, and gloriously difficult, leads to greatness. The path you choose in this moment will determine everything that follows. Understand this truth. Your nervous system operates on ancient programming designed to seek pleasure and avoid pain at all costs. This biological wiring served your ancestors perfectly when survival meant conserving energy and avoiding threats. But in today's world, this same programming becomes the invisible prison, keeping you trapped in comfortable mediocrity. Your comfort zone is nothing but a beautifully decorated cell. Muhammad Ali, the greatest champion in history, did he float like a butterfly through effortless training sessions? Absolutely not. Ali's raw honesty reveals the universal truth about transformation. I hated every minute of training, but I said to myself, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. This principle isn't just for boxing legends, it's the fundamental equation of all human growth. Temporary discomfort, consistent action, a permanent expansion of your capabilities. The fire that forges you must first make you uncomfortable. Starting today, you must rewire your relationship with discomfort. Begin each morning by deliberately seeking out what makes you uncomfortable. Make that intimidating call you've been avoiding first, not last. Attack your most challenging project when your energy peaks, not when you're depleted. Say the truth that needs to be spoken when the impulse first hits, not after you've rationalized silence. This isn't random suffering, it's strategic discomfort. Each time you choose the harder path, you're literally recalibrating your neurological threshold for stress. What once triggered panic gradually transforms into manageable tension. What once seemed impossible slowly becomes your new normal. Your growth zone exists precisely where your comfort zone ends. Picture yourself as steel being forged. The raw material holds potential, but without the transformative heat of the forge, that zone of intense discomfort, it remains ordinary, unremarkable. Yet when subjected to temperatures that would destroy lesser materials, that same steel transforms into something extraordinary, stronger, more resilient, and infinitely more valuable. You are that steel. Your forge is strategic discomfort. The scientific truth is undeniable. Growth occurs at the edge of your abilities, in that magical territory where you're stretched but not broken. The muscle that grows isn't the one used for routine tasks, but the one pushed to momentary failure. The mind that expands isn't the one that processes familiar information, but the one that grapples with challenging concepts. What terrifies you today will empower you tomorrow. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, looking back at the person you are today. Will that future self thank you for choosing comfort, or will they celebrate your courage in embracing necessary discomfort? The answer shapes your destiny. Elite performers across every field understand what average minds resist. Discomfort isn't something to avoid, it's something to pursue with strategic intention. They've discovered that systematically seeking out calculated challenges creates an unstoppable momentum toward mastery. This strategic use of discomfort, training yourself to run toward fear rather than away from it, becomes your accelerated path to extraordinary achievement. While others remain trapped in the prison of comfort, you'll be expanding your capabilities at an exponential rate. Your transformation begins with this decision: comfort or greatness. You cannot have both. This is the non-negotiable truth that most will never accept. Starting today, make this declaration your battle cry. I choose growth over comfort. I choose expansion over security. I choose greatness over mediocrity. Feel the power in that decision. Let it infuse every cell in your body. Then take that first uncomfortable action, make that call, have that conversation, begin that project, and feel the exhilaration of breaking free from comfort's golden handcuffs. Your greatest life exists on the other side of discomfort. The champions before you have proven this path. Now it's your turn to embrace the discomfort that will forge your extraordinary future. Comfort or greatness today. You decide. 8. The Mastermind Alliance. Alone, you are powerful. Together, you are unstoppable. Right now, at this very moment, your greatest dreams sit waiting on the other side of fears you're trying to conquer by yourself. This is the critical mistake that keeps even the most talented individuals trapped in mediocrity. The truth that will transform everything. No significant achievement in history has ever happened in isolation. When you strategically surround yourself with others who elevate your thinking, challenge your limitations, and refuse to let you settle, something magical happens. Your capacity to push through fear doesn't just increase, it multiplies exponentially. This is the untapped power of the Mastermind Alliance. Andrew Carnegie, a man who built one of history's greatest fortunes, not through isolated genius, but through a profound understanding of collective power. When asked about the source of his extraordinary success, Carnegie didn't point to his own brilliance. Instead, he revealed the secret weapon that separated him from all competitors, his ability to identify and enlist individuals who possessed qualities he lacked. This wasn't just delegation, it was transformation through strategic alliance. You must adopt this exact blueprint for conquering your fears. Starting today, identify those rare individuals whose strengths precisely complement your weaknesses, whose courage naturally inspires your own, whose vision expands what you believe possible. These aren't just friends or colleagues, they're the architects of your expanded capabilities. Create or join a mastermind group where your most audacious dreams aren't just tolerated, they're expected, where your fears are understood but never indulged, where your excuses are recognized for exactly what they are, temporary stories you tell yourself that have no place in your extraordinary future. Meet regularly with these individuals in an environment of absolute candor and mutual commitment. Share your challenges without hesitation. Exchange ideas without ego. Hold each other accountable without compromise. The energy generated in these sacred alliances defies ordinary explanation, a collective intelligence exponentially more powerful than any individual contribution. When fear strikes, your mastermind becomes your unbreakable lifeline. Picture this. You stand at the edge of a significant decision, paralyzed by the fear of what might go wrong. Alone, this fear might derail weeks of progress, but within your mastermind alliance, this same fear gets transformed into strategic caution. Their perspective helps you instantly distinguish between legitimate concerns and irrational fears that exist only in your imagination. Their encouragement doesn't just make you feel better, it reconnects you with strengths you've temporarily forgotten in the fog of doubt. Their own victories stand as living proof of what's possible when fear is confronted rather than avoided. In this way, the journey that seemed impossible alone becomes inevitable when undertaken in the company of committed allies who refuse to let you settle for anything less than your true capability. This is how you transform your relationship with fear forever. The most successful individuals throughout history. Edison understood that personal development isn't a solo sport. They created powerful alliances that turned their individual flames into roaring fires that consumed limitations and illuminated new possibility. You weren't designed to conquer your fears alone. The very structure of human psychology is wired for connection, for synergy, for the exponential power that comes from strategic alliance with others equally committed to greatness. Make this commitment today. I will no longer face my fears in isolation. I will strategically create alliances that transform my capabilities and accelerate my breakthrough. Feel the liberation in that decision. Feel the weight lifting as you realize you don't have to figure everything out alone. Feel your capacity expanding as you tap into the collective wisdom, courage, and determination of your carefully chosen mastermind. The fears that have held you hostage are about to meet a force they cannot resist. The unstoppable power of a mastermind alliance committed to your extraordinary success. Your breakthrough awaits. Your mastermind makes it inevitable. The vision that compels your greatest life exists beyond your greatest fear. Right now, this very moment, you stand at the threshold of transformation. What separates you from the extraordinary life calling your name isn't skill, resources, or connections. It's the magnetic power of a vision so compelling it renders fear irrelevant. When your vision burns with sufficient intensity, fear loses its grip on your decisions. This isn't positive thinking. It's the psychological leverage that has transformed ordinary individuals into world changers throughout history. Vision doesn't just inspire action, it demands it. Walt Disney, a man who faced devastating bankruptcy, relentless rejection, and the crushing weight of doubt from everyone around him. What force could possibly push a person through such overwhelming resistance? A vision of creating magical experiences for families so vivid, so compelling, that surrender became more painful than persistence. This wasn't just a goal, it was his destiny calling. And that same transformative power awaits your activation. Your vision must become your obsession. Starting today, carve out sacred time in absolute silence to connect with your deepest aspirations. Not the goals society has programmed you to pursue, not the achievements others expect of you, but the vision that makes your heart race when you dare to imagine it fully realized. This isn't a casual exercise. This is the forging of your personal North Star. Write this vision in such vivid detail that it engages every sense. What will you see when this vision manifests? What sounds will fill your ears in this realized future? What emotions will surge through your body? Whose lives will be transformed by your courage? How will your world fundamentally change? When you develop this vision with sufficient emotional intensity, your brain creates a psychological tension that can only be resolved by moving toward its realization. This isn't mystical, it's the practical application of your mind's reticular activating system, which begins scanning for opportunities that once remained invisible to you. Fear doesn't disappear, it becomes irrelevant. Picture a mother whose child is trapped in a burning building. Does she calculate risk? Does she wait for confidence? Does she hesitate because of fear? Absolutely not. She acts with decisive courage because the alternative, not taking action, has become unthinkable. Your vision must create this same psychological imperative. When your vision reaches this level of emotional intensity, fear still appears, but it becomes secondary to the magnetic pull of your destiny. You'll find yourself taking actions that once seemed impossible because the destination has become non-negotiable. The pain of regret has become greater than the discomfort of growth. This is how you transcend ordinary existence. Your compelling vision, reviewed daily and felt emotionally, not just intellectually understood, becomes the irresistible force that pulls you through barriers that once seemed impenetrable. Like a powerful magnet extracting metal from sand, it separates what matters from what merely distracts. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. Will you be celebrating the courage that transformed your life, or regretting another year of allowing fear to dictate your choices? The answer depends entirely on the vision you construct and emotionally connect with today. Make this declaration your personal power statement. My vision pulls me forward with such magnetic force that fear becomes merely background noise on my journey to greatness. Feel the liberation in those words. Feel the shift from pushing against fear to being pulled by possibility. This single transformation from fear-focused to vision-driven will change everything about how you approach challenges. The most extraordinary achievers throughout history weren't fearless. They were purposeful. Their vision became so compelling that everything else, including their fears, faded into the background of their magnificent obsession. Your extraordinary life awaits your extraordinary vision. The fears that have held you hostage are about to meet a force they cannot resist. The magnetic power of a vision worthy of your one precious life. Create it. Feel it. Live it. Watch as it transforms not just what you do, but who you become. Your destiny is calling. Answer with a vision that makes fear irrelevant. 10. The legacy mindset. 100 years from now, what will remain of your time on Earth? Let this question penetrate your soul. Feel its weight, its power, its ability to instantly transform how you view every challenge before you. This perspective, the legacy mindset, isn't just another way of thinking. It's the ultimate fear destroyer, expanding your vision beyond today's temporary discomforts to the immortal impact your life will have across generations. Your greatest fears shrink when your vision expands. John D. Rockefeller, a man who could have been consumed by the relentless pursuit of wealth and power, yet his most profound fulfillment came not from what he accumulated, but from what he contributed, establishing foundations that continue transforming lives decades after his physical presence ended. This wasn't just philanthropy. This was legacy thinking in its most powerful form. The moment Rockefeller shifted from immediate gratification to generational impact, his entire relationship with risk and reward transformed. Challenges that might have seemed overwhelming to others became merely temporary obstacles on his journey to creating something that would outlast his life. This same transformative power awaits your activation. Starting today, ask yourself this soul-stirring question. What contribution am I uniquely positioned to make? Not what will bring immediate comfort or recognition, but what work would make your life a worthy link in the unbroken chain of human progress. This isn't about ego or accomplishment. This is about contribution at the deepest level. When you connect with this purpose, when you feel it in the marrow of your bones, fears that once stopped you cold are suddenly revealed for what they truly are, trivial distractions keeping you from your more meaningful work in this world. Your legacy isn't created in grand gestures, it's built in daily decisions. The legacy mindset doesn't require massive wealth or global influence. It simply means living each day with acute awareness of the ripple effects of your choices across time. The courage you demonstrate when pushing through fear doesn't just advance your own life, it shows others what's possible for them. The challenges you overcome today create pathways others will follow tomorrow. The fears you conquer become inspiration for everyone your life touches. In this way, forcing yourself to push through fear isn't just about personal achievement, it becomes your most significant contributor to the human story. You aren't just changing your life, you're changing what's possible. Imagine your great-grandchildren telling the story of your life. What courage will they describe? What obstacles will they say you overcame? What example will they point to as the evidence of what's possible in their own lives? Their story about you is being written by your choices today, especially the choices you make when facing fear. Fear knocked at the door. Faith answered, no one was there. This timeless wisdom reveals the essential truth you discover every time you force yourself to push through fear. Most of what terrifies you exists only in your imagination. It dissolves the moment you take decisive action. The regrets that haunt people in their final hours rarely center on failures. They focus almost exclusively on risks not taken, courage not summoned, and contributions not made. They mourn the legacy that could have been if only they had pushed through fear rather than being defined by it. Your legacy is calling you forward right now. Can you hear it? Can you feel it? It's pulling you toward that challenging conversation you've been avoiding. It's directing you toward that bold move you know you must make. It's urging you to create that work that only you can bring into the world. Make this declaration your battle cry. I refuse to let temporary fear rob the world of my permanent contribution. Feel the power in those words. Feel how they instantly transform your relationship with the challenges before you. Feel how they expand your vision beyond immediate comfort to lasting impact. The greatest leaders, innovators, and change-makers throughout history weren't fearless, they were legacy-minded. They saw beyond their immediate circumstances to their place in the larger human story. Your destiny awaits on the other side of fear. Step through it now, not just for yourself, but for everyone your courage will inspire for generations to come. Your immortal impact begins with this single courageous step.